Rimuru says, some people need to make friends. And Veldora demands, just speak your mind with the request, and Rimuru starts, the thing is, Ramrus is moving to town. We are building that girl's labyrinth right under the Colosseum and then. And Veldora understood faster, oh, is it Ramrus? I'm not entirely sure about that girl's ability, but I think she has the power to create tunnels that will lead to the same location, no matter which entrance on the surface is taken. Is she able to create a labyrinth with complex layouts? And Rimuru confirms, right. She is also planning to add floors, and I am thinking about preparing different types of traps. Where Veldora is amazed, there are even floors? I see, that Chibi Ramrus seems to be stronger than I imagined. Rimuru notices that Veldora is mirroring his serious expression and thinks that he is really gullible. So he now shared the entirety of the underground labyrinth creation plan with Veldora. Rimuru said, isn't it boring to just have an ordinary labyrinth? That's why I'm trying to make it something awesome, a national brand. And today, I just discussed it with Ramrus. She is now working hard on expanding the floors. And Veldora asked, oh. So what does it have to do with your favor from me? And Rimuru responds, honestly, I need a king to rule over the underground labyrinth. Which got Veldora's attention. You say king, and Rimuru explained, the management of the labyrinth will be run by Ramrus and me. Then there is a gate on the 100th floor that leads to Ramrus's home within the fairy maze. A guardian is required for that gate. No, we need the strongest guardian. Don't you think that makes sense, Veldora-kun? And Veldora excitedly responds, it makes sense. I see, as expected of Rimuru. So you want to hand that job to me, am I right? It's just as what Rimuru predicted that Veldora will be fooled by his sweet talk. It's obvious that Veldora didn't have much resistance against the word strongest, so he figured it could be used to lure him into agreement. Rimuru responds, that's right, Veldora. Moreover, if you agree to this proposal, there's another bonus waiting for you. Veldora got curious about it, oh. Although I've already decided to agree, let me hear about this bonus first. And Rimuru asked, didn't you want to release your Yuki all the time? And that you were almost at your limit? Veldora had a guess about it, and Rimuru confirms that Veldora doesn't have to hold back his Yuki anymore in the labyrinth. He can even return to his original dragon form. Rimuru drops the final bait, think about it, a handsome dragon waiting at the depths of the labyrinth, giving off a solemn aura. And Veldora suddenly interrupted, that's me, right? If that's the case, I also get to unapologetically say to people this, gahahaha, you've finally arrived. Welcome, pathetic bugs, and show off a little? Rimuru thinks how game Veldora is even when at the beginning, he didn't even seem to have a single scrap of motivation. How about he give it a final blow to seal the deal? Rimuru now begins to mention the final plan that he had discussed with Ramrus. He says, I'll also be deploying some of my men there to defend against the adventurers. Yes, this is a game you've wanted to play for a while, I want to make it a reality. So, does it sound like fun? He expected to make the underground labyrinth into something resembling a realistic simulation game. He will deploy his men as monsters to fight and defeat adventurers. In order to guard the treasure chests, there will also be monster bosses. Veldora's magicules will flood the underground labyrinth. Starting at the 100th floor, where the magicule concentration will be strongest, it will gradually thin out as it spreads across the floors above, which will have the desired effect of spawning relatively weak monsters in the upper floors, but progressively tougher ones lower down. Rimuru thinks it's not really necessary to deploy guardians, since he didn't see anyone even arriving at the 100th floor. But there should be no worries, since the most important thing was having Veldora release his Yauki. He figured that after telling him to endure, he was at his limit. Because if he leaves Veldora unattended, it might look for a place to relieve himself without permission, and it might injure citizens. If Veldora accidentally released it in this region, apart from Rimuru's executives and himself, any average people would be unable to tolerate it. It would be asking too much to hope that Veldora would understand restraint, so Ramrus's labyrinth was to be a facilitating factor. After all, the interior of the labyrinth was an isolated space, and there was no need to worry about magicule leakage. Moreover, even if Veldora released his Yuki, it wouldn't shake the place. Even the sealed cave was unable to contain the Yuki released by Veldora after his full revival. Then there's also the ultimate goal, the hope that Veldora would release his Yuki completely simultaneously preparing high concentrations of magicules to spawn monsters. Rimuru thinks that it's like killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Not only would he be able to chase out Veldora who had been laying his nest in his house, he could have him be the magicule generator in the labyrinth to spawn monsters. Moreover, he got to give some work to this Veldora who had almost turned into a NEET. Sadly for Veldora, he didn't think he would ever get the chance to play the part of the king of the labyrinth. After hearing what Rimuru said, Veldora stood up and sneakily put his manga into his pocket. He then extended his hand towards Rimuru intending to shake his hand. Veldora says, "Interesting. This thing sounds very interesting, Rimuru. Adventurers will fend off the minions and stand before me. Then I will get to teach these strong individuals a lesson. Of course, some adventurers will attempt to run away, but I will not let them off so easily. When times like that come, how about I say something like, gahahahaha, you can't escape from my grasp. Don't you know? No one escapes from the claws of the one and only storm dragon. I always wanted to try this line. Now am I finally getting the chance to deliver the line that I've been hoping to declare for so long? How exciting, I'm really looking forward to it." Rimuru have gotten Veldora so excited and he just agreed, "Yeah, you're right." He thinks if will Veldora be okay with it, since by normal logic, there's not gonna be anyone who will have the ability to make it to the 100th floor. Rimuru asked Veldora, "I figure this honor can only be handled by you, so what do you think?" And Veldora is confident, "Of course I will do it. Rimuru, you are so lucky to have come to me, I am after all the only one who could possibly fill this role." Rimuru thinks that he's lucky, that Veldora is easy to trick. And like that, Rimuru got Veldora's assistance with ease.